Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Heirloom Afternoon. I am Cheryl Muppin Sloboda. How are you doing today? It is Tuesday. It is noon Central Time, and that means it's time for Heirloom Afternoon. I am so excited. We have had a lot of travel. For those of you that tried to tune in last week, you probably noticed we were not here. We were in Lakeland, Florida, currently at the we were at the original Sewing and Quilt Expo, and my friends, it has been so wonderful to see all of you on the road. And thank you so much for tuning in to our show every week and or watching them on the replay. We do appreciate you so much. We appreciate your comments, and we appreciate your likes and shares. So today, since I have been away for what feels like a really long time, we are going to be doing some incredible unboxing of some things that have come in the mail for me while I have been away. Now, so there's a couple things going on. So first of all, those of you that are interested in Quilt Cam, here is Quilt Cam. And a giant bag. So ignore the giant bag. But here is the quilt for this week, as we have been talking about. It is a giant cutter quilt. Someone has cut into giant sections of this quilt, and it is very sad. However, today in the mail, since I just got back last night, I opened the mail today, and I have a book about quilt kits, which is what I think this quilt is. I believe that it is a quilt kit that was purchased, and I would absolutely love to know more about it, because it's such a really interesting and beautifully made quilt. And so my goal is to, take some time to go through this book and see if I can find it. There are, so many, and I'm just gonna really quick flip through the book while I have the in the show. So you're going to be able to see some of what this book is about. And we talked very briefly about quilt kits in the beginning of the month when we put this quilt up on the show. So I'm excited that we're going to get to see more of it. And let's, I guess, just jump into it. If you're out there, say hello. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or some hearts. I want to make sure you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. So again, I've been traveling. We've had booths, we've had teaching, I've taught new classes, I've taught new students, brand new to quilting. It's been a very exciting couple of weeks. We also got to see Max, for those of you that are fans of our little guy. So let's just go into the stuff here, because there's so much to show you. And first is the book. I did tell you I was going to order it, and I did do that. This is Quilt Kit's 20th Century Shortcuts. Now, this book is specifically about quilt kits, and I'm just going to move some of this stuff out of the way. That's all on my table. I have stuff left over from the last show, and it's just been generally kind of nutty in here. Ooh, I don't want those to go all over the floor. All right, so this book, as you can see, is going to give us the individual companies and a little bit about the patterns that were available, people who have completed them, what companies were out there, and so on. So if you are a quilt collector, and I know many of you are quilt collectors, this will be a book that will be essential to you. And you remember last week, or in our last episode, we talked specifically about the Hershner Catalog. We went through a Hershner Catalog to see what was available. So the idea that, so here's like, how cool is this? We've got a Hershner Catalog here, and here is the Hershner Catalog, specifically with the quilts on the cover, but we have quilts on the back cover as well. So for those of you into quilt kits, or identifying your vintage quilt, this book, I have already really enjoyed flipping through it. And, again, will I find the quilt in this book or not? I don't know. I hope so. And it's likely that I will. But I am very excited about being able to go through this book and start identifying my kits, my quilt kit. And again, the quilt here on the set, I do believe is a kit, and that's why I bought the book. And if you are looking for this book, you are going to want to look for Rose Marie Werner, who is the author. And great book. I mean, it's really well made, and I am super excited about it. And I think she's done like such a fantastic job making this book, just really, really nice. And I don't remember if I got a signed copy. No, I did not. But she did write it recently, and looks like it's self-published, which I got to give her a ton of credit for. And, if you're into quilt kits, great book. So this came in the mail. So this is new, and I have yet to go through it. I also get makeup in the mail, and I just wanted to show you this little cute pouch that they always send me with my little makeup kits. And then check out this like rainbow zipper. I've never seen rainbow zippers and like that. And so my little makeup kit came in today, and that is something I do for myself just to make me happy. And so yeah, I'm happy with my little makeup bag. Okay, so coming up on a future episode, we're going to talk about the those looms, those looms that so many of you have had in the past. And I just think this is, really awesome. And you can still get these looms, and it's super fun. And so I did buy the loom in or at least all this. And I did buy the loom at a vintage store, and now I have the loops, right? And you can still get the loops. They are still available. And so here's the lot of loops, bright colors. They came in all sorts of other colors too. They're cotton, which I like. And so I'm excited about trying these out, these loops. And we're going to do that on a future episode, because many of you have never, whoa, that almost was bad. Gotta take some of these down. So these loops, I have friends who have the vintage looms. I have spoken to lots of people over the last few weeks about those vintage looms. And April says, I still have the loom and I still love it. That's so cool. I had a student tell me that she used to make extra money as a kid using these and selling the pot holders that she made from her vintage loom. So I got the loops. They came in the mail. And so I got them because I want to demo the vintage loom. And I think that'll be a fun little project for Max and I. And so here is another set of crazy things that came in the mail. So a friend of mine has been downsizing, and she asked me, do you want any of these little salt cellars? And I said yes, because I cannot resist a salt cellar. And some of these are just gorgeous. Like this one here is like a cut glass style. And then there's one that's like got a little bit of more chunky view to it. And then these ones are more of a pressed glass. If you like salt cellars like I do, they are super addictive. And so there's a couple that are in the heavier style. This one's got a big chip out of it, but it does not matter. Here's that thicker one, and so is that one. So there's a set of 4, and then here is a set of 5. And you can see, like, at first I thought they were all the same, but they're not. They actually are 2 different sets, and but very, very close in style. And again, pin cushions will be made. Pin cushions will be offered for sale. We have pin cushion kits available with our salt cellar. We will be offering salt cellar pin cushion kits. We do have some available online. So that was really cool. And then and I know that this is kind of an unusual thing, but it's very rare that you get a handkerchief set that's like barely ever been used and or unopened. And I found myself the recipient of a couple of lots of vintage handkerchiefs. Now, when you buy vintage handkerchiefs, you probably are thinking like, well, they run the gamut. They really do. You usually buy them in like a giant like bin or at a thrift shop, and they're already opened and they're already undone. And you see that little embroidery, and you probably are like, can't tell, if this is machine made, or is it new, or is it really old, or what have you. So I just wanted to show how these handkerchief sets were sold. And especially here, these are from like the 50s or 60s. They're not terribly old. This one here says made in Switzerland. And this stitching is done by machine. And I know that that's sometimes hard to tell whether or not it's been done by machine. It's very nice, little cute little set here. All of the pieces have, the corner lace, and, some are prettier than others. And so this was just a really sweet little set. And, again, they come like pinned onto these backgrounds. Sometimes I take these apart and sometimes I don't. If I find them in sets like this, I usually keep them together, just so that I can remember how I purchased it. And I do a lot of vintage linen dyeing and painting, and I do all sorts of stuff. So if these are stained, and there is a little bit of staining, on these, the paper underneath here is not acid free, and so you want to probably eventually remove these from the container because they'll end up damaging these over time. But the vintage linens, like you can see the stains. And so I typically will take them apart from this packaging and launder them, see if those stains come out. I use vintage hankies all the time, so they are not unused in this household. So for me, this one is just a really sweet set that also still has its sticker on it. This set I thought was really interesting because there's so many pieces to it, and it's also got like all sorts of like I mean, it has been through the ringer. Like, I don't know if there's like, little bug parts under here. Sometimes there are, sometimes there's not. Oh, look, there's like hankies hiding underneath here. And so, again, these are from a set. These don't go with this set. That's a bonus. I didn't notice that before. I love it when I get a little bonus. But again, these are mostly machine made. These might be hand embroidered. They might not. But these have been in a set. They would probably have been sold like this, where they've been nested together. So you can see this fold here. So you can tell that these were... So it's hard to tell sometimes whether or not these are machine made or handmade. And I mostly prefer the handmade ones. I'm not a big fan of collecting the machine made lace ones, only because personally in my collection I like more of that handwork. So again, this is a really sweet little set. It's got these, they have been left in here and folded, and they were all stacked in here really cutely. There's one that appears to be missing from this set, but again, this was from a giant pile. And once again, the background on this paper is not acid free, so I would be a little concerned to start undoing these. They probably need to be taken out of their container. But you can see this is a machine made piece of embroidery. This set's probably from, it's newer. I don't have to worry about it as much. So these would be great candidates for dyeing and painting and all kinds of fun stuff. This one is really sweet, really pretty. And this is where you start to get them, you start to not be able to tell if they are handmade or not. And this one in particular, again, I don't know if I'm going to leave them together like this or not. So these two right here are separate from this like crazy lace piece in the back with the blue ribbon here. Okay, so that crazy lace piece, okay, is just like a big lacy handkerchief on its own, right? Probably this is a great little bridal set. 3 ladies handkerchief. You have something blue, very cute, very sweet. These, on the other hand, are the real star of the show. And I'm just going to lift this up and out so you can see it. And this is where it has, again, a feel of handwork. And more than likely, these were hand embroidered and not machine embroidered, because we do have this little beautiful little applique, and then these pretty little embroideries, and the embroidery goes to all 4 corners of this hanky. So that's really sweet because you've got like 4 corners, plus you have the drawn cut work here, which is done in pink. and this is really difficult to do by machine. So this little set, as sweet, it's like saccharine sweet. It's so cute. But it's definitely got that like mix of hand and handwork and not handwork. And here's the thing. This is like, you can see right here, 65% polyester. So this is, not new. This is something from like the 60s, 70s. Martha's here. Hello, Martha. And so this was a nice little surprise. I just really thought the little like handwork versions were really sweet. So again, hankies may not be new, may not be old. Something, lots of things to think about there. Now, while we were away, we did go to a vintage store, and I have collected some more vintage goodies. And I just wanted to show you some of these, and I'm just going to bring everything out. Probably easier that way. You hear some clunkiness going on. And oh, there's my receipt. How much did I spend? Oh, not too much. And so here's the bag. Throw the bag off to the side there. All right, let's talk about this. I am a sucker for vintage tools and also like embroideries that people have completed that are just left. They're just left. And this one I thought was really cute. It has here old times. Okay. And you have the horse car. You have the Model T. You have an iron horse, which is a train, and then you have a stagecoach. And it's super interesting because it's cross-stitch modes of transportation on this like linen background. And it's a little sampler. And, you've got these really well embroidered wheels. And I just thought it was really sweet and not as like cutesy girly as the stuff that I normally find. Like I normally am going through these places and it's like sewing stuff or embroideries. They've got flowers and they've got bunnies and they've got girls and pretty, little babies. This was definitely very masculine, and I thought, not bad, right? Old times. So I want to say it's about 18 by 22. So nice little embroidery. Picked up for about $8. I felt like that might have been a little high, but not too bad. Next up, I have a couple of these. And these were unfinished. Now, I left a fair number of these behind. These were not, I did not take everything. Okay, so if you go to this vintage store that I was at in Lakeland, you will find some of these. And let's get this open because no, that's a sewing scissor. I don't want to open it with that. Here we go. Right? It's like, don't use your sewing scissors, my friends. Okay, so we've got this somewhat open. We can get it out. This is a stamped quilt kit. Now, it does look like the pieces have been sewn together already. And it looks like it's got some hash marks on it for embroidery. And what I have found a lot lately is that like there are a lot of quilt kits and embroidery, like this was supposed to have been embroidered on, but instead what you can see here is that they have used paint. And a lot of times when I'm buying my vintage pillowcases and things like that, they have cheated in a way with doing the embroidery on the quilt by doing it, or embroidery on the pillowcase, by doing it with paint instead. And these types of paints were sold pretty often and regularly, and you were just to go over the lines where you were supposed to be embroidering with the paint instead. And this person did a really good job. I mean, I don't think it's too terribly off as far as the designs. I feel like they look halfway decent. And then there are places for you to stitch with your quilting. And then you were to use a fill technique of your own design. Now this on the package says stamped quilt topper. Did not say how big it was, so I'm going to try to get a sense of how big it is, because like I don't even know how big this is. So let's see. We've got, and here's a really neat thing. There's a number on each of the blocks. And so, all right, so we have, each block looks to be about 20 some odd inches, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4 across, 1, 2, 3 down, or whatever. Kind of a decent sized stain here, so let's bring that back up in here. So we've got a decent sized stain that may or may not come out. They have been machine pieced together. They are really well put together. More stains, more stains. This isn't a sealed bag, my friends. Like, you get what you get. Yeah, it's not bad. So 3 by 4, with each block being about 18-ish inches. That's not a bad size, don't you think? Put some borders on it. We should be good to go. Let's see. Where is my... I have a mat here. Let's pull the mat out. See how big this is. Oh, I've been away so long, my mat is like curling. I better get this flattened out ASAP, or I'm going to be a sad, sad lady. All right, so, wow, these are bigger than I thought. Edge to edge, they're 18 inches. So 18, ish inches. I'm just making a mess. Everything's kind of a mess over here today. So like I said, about 20 inches. Let's do some math. 18 by 3, 54. And then we've got, another 18 inches for the other side. 54 by... It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, this quilt topper. Now, will I go back and embroider these blocks? No, I don't think so. I will try to do some of the quilting. I think that would be a lot of fun. There are some numbers stamped here, so we can probably do some research on the kit number for these individual blocks, but I think they're quite lovely. $20 is what I spent on this quilt topper. Yeah. And like I said, they're painted. They're not embroidered, you know. And there were other quilt kits that had not been touched at the store. So, you know, my friends, run to Lakeland, Florida and grab up those other ones. Oh, this was from Target. It's little felt vegetables, and they were in the spring section for $3. That's like $1 a vegetable. You can't even buy that much felt for that much. I just had to have them. I know they're silly. Okay, so I did pick up another darner. And this darner, again, black. It has the end here for the gloves. So we did that in an episode. I think that would be it's a nice addition to my darning collection. $7.50. I don't like that they stuck this sticker to it, and it looks like the sticker's pretty stuck on there. So I'm going to use like a sticker remover to get that off. But $7.50 for a new darner, new to me darner. It goes in my darning collection. And then there were these pillowcases. Now, this does go into the saccharine sweets side of things. And these are claimed to be, these are not cross stitch. The label says cross stitch, but they're not cross stitch. They are pillowcases with the lady, and then all of her dress here you embroider. And I thought that she was just lovely, like just so pretty and delicate, and I can't wait to embroider these. We use vintage pillowcases in my house every day on all of our beds, and this was just adorable. And what I like is that I have the book or the chart that came with it. So it does look like it was there's pillowcases, tubing, vanity, and like a vanity scarf. I think this is also they have an apron that you could have bought. But these are both pillowcases. And so there's no apron here. But this is how they would come. They would have like pre-finished edges. They would have pre-finished or pre-stamped, and all you do is do the embroidery. And you've got to see her little face. I mean, isn't that sweet? I mean, I'm not a big, like, normally I don't go in for that. But I just had to have them. And I had told Max, he was with us, and I said, please don't tell Dad that I am buying more pillowcases, because Charlie will probably like really more pillowcases. But yeah, so this is grandmother's brand, and it has a design that's patented, but I think they mean copyrighted. But so how beautiful is that? How lovely is that? It's just super cute. So that was also two pillowcases for $15. Now, you can't even go into a store and buy pillowcases for $15. So I'm just saying, like, when I buy vintage, usually I'm doing pretty good. Okay, so these are also from the vintage store. And what they have done, they like wrapped everything in a bag. Like, there's bags on bags of stuff. Okay, so I believe these are my salt cellars, so I don't need to show you those, because God only knows you don't need to see any more salt cellars from me. Ooh, don't fall off the table. Nice stuff. Okay. So here was another one. I bought this Atlas sewing machine accessories box. I just thought it was really neat. It didn't come with anything in it. And I just, of course, really loved the accessory, the tin. I'm just a big sucker for tins. And then here are 2 pin cushions. And this one is a left in ceramic pin cushion with this sort of goofy it is bagception. There's bags on bags in this stuff. It's super crazy. So it is hard to find pin cushions and things in these stores that are still intact and not like totally weird. Anyway, this little girl pin cushion from Lefton ceramic, and it's not just her like whole I thought at first it was just a head, but it's like whole dress. And so that was really cute. And she was $7, so that was an easy buy. And then this one was really neat because it's got more of a vintage piece of foam in here, and a piece of velvet, and it's like a little victory urn, and it was $4. And so I couldn't pass that one up either. So into my pincushion collection they go, and they will sit up here on my studio for a while and then get moved into the main studio. But I did love the Atlas dude here holding up the world. And I had not heard of Atlas sewing machine accessories before, so this was pretty neat to discover. Thought that was really cool. Gwen is here. How's that beautiful baby? So we've got the Atlas book. Now, I'm telling you, I've got like no room on this studio for any more stuff. But this, I am so excited about this. And if you like truly vintage stuff, this stuff is pretty dope. All right. So first I'm going to show you this other thing because they lead to the other stuff. These are vintage ladies magazines from the 20s. Now, there's a giant stack of them here, and I think there's 35 of them here. I bought them in an eBay auction, and I knew they were kind of jacked up for their condition. I am not buying them in the hopes of having them I'm sorry, I'm like falling off my own chair. I wasn't buying them for the hopes of having like perfect, things. And a lot of times these magazines have been completely deconstructed and are no longer in their original form. So the fact that they were all like here and somewhat intact is a great thing. The reason that I am interested in them is not for what I'm about to show you, which is the color advertisements all through here, and some of them have been chopped up, unfortunately. All through here are color ads that a lot of times collectors, advertising collectors, will buy the magazine just to take the advertisements out. So unfortunately, that means there are, like this is an incredible ad. Like, that's an incredible ad. Very graphic. People will take these and cut them out of the magazines and like frame them and like put them in their kitchens and all kinds of stuff. And it's really like, these are what women read to pass the time or, you know, learn in their various stuff. And so these magazines, which I you know, again, are not 100% like together here, but I'm very excited because they have a lot of instruction, like here, about how to make some trim, and here is like how to make this lampshade. You know, here's information about patterns and crochet and just like really interesting stuff, like how to design a room, and really like things. And again, of course, these incredible ads. I mean, even I have to stop you and say, like, that's amazing. But then you have to look and see like what's on the back, like this creepy lady. I'm sorry. She's creepy. That lady, she's gonna haunt me. So these are, you know, you have a raisin ad. Like, there's so much color there. Like, I wish you could see this in person. And again, what you're doing is you're getting design ideas, fashion tips, information about products that you might want to buy. And like here, like, tell your husband that you want like a waxed floor machine. And fascinating bits of lingerie to delight your friends on Christmas morn. Like, if I walk downstairs wearing any of that, you should say something to me. Favorite recipes from readers, which I have to tell you, probably I might want to try one. Here, oh, ladies, if you don't have a vacuum cleaner, how will you get on how to clean without a vacuum cleaner? And so, you know, like I said, there are missing pages. You can see here that there is an ad here that's missing, or a recipe that's been cut out. And you know, you can have exact duplicates of famous movie stars' frocks. We still don't we just stopped calling things frocks, which I think is funny. Anyway, these are incredible, fun to look through. You know, you get a good sense of like what was out there, available to women at the time. Lots of things like, look at this craft cheese. Wow. Okay. And you've got like cookbooks, you've got like oven information, like how to dye fabric. You know, with my large family, I could not get along without sunset dyes. 8 girls and a slim family purse. What am I to do? So you get like all kinds of stuff, like really weird. Really weird ads, especially back here in the back, like things that are like, you know, hush hush. Like, did you know that Lane Bryant has been around for a really long time? Those of you who are fluffy like me, you're like, Lane Bryant? What? Lane Bryant, my friends. Look, stout women dress fashionably, look slender by using Lane Bryant. Yeah, it's the same old. They need a recipe for sandwiches, my friend, because these are women who are modern and did not have people to teach them all of this stuff. And so, yeah, lots of the weird stuff back here in the back of the magazine. These are like the personals and stuff like that. Vaseline, you know, how to use like diamond dye any garment, just unbelievable stuff back here. And then of course Priscilla, the magazine, is going to sell you all these patterns and things like that. And so you can find Priscilla patterns and stuff. Just kind of neat. And yeah, it's just neat to look through these old magazines. And the reason that I wanted some of these, okay, so that was Modern Priscilla, 1925. This one is the women's magazine, and let's see what date this one is from. 1902. 1902. They really do run the gamut, you know, from like how they talk about things. And so it's just really cool. We've got Needlecraft Magazine. Sometimes they have their covers and sometimes they don't. And so what I was looking for specifically in here was for Needlecraft Magazine has a running column by a particular woman. And oh my gosh, another giant Campbell Soup ad. Like, is that not just so amazingly graphic? Like, I love the color. But that's why people buy these magazines. They cut the stuff out of them. Some Ovaltine. Anyway, in here are a lot of needlecraft ideas and tips and tricks. And then you'll have pattern, like, you know, these are Needlecraft Magazine patterns. But then there's a woman who will tell you, like, here's what you can do to, like, freshen up a frock and things like that. And I started following, like, what she was talking about. And I wanted to grab, like, some of these magazines in order to do some research on her. And so I just found these, like, so really cool. And yeah, here it is. Here's You Need a Baker's saltines. So in here, like I said, she's got you know, there's needlework charts and applique ideas, and here you go, Listerine, the enemy of sore throats. I just find them really entertaining. And you know, they've got like ideas for your food for the week and month or whatever, and just interesting, because a lot of this is, you know, this is 1930, this magazine. Here's some beautiful, I mean, aren't those dresses amazing? And you can buy the patterns, but what's really interesting is when, like, here is sort of like how to cut this dress. Don't fall off stuff. It fell off. How to cut this dress, and you know, it's really interesting how they do that. Here's like a flower ad. So I started looking at these just to kind of find what tips I can pull from some of these, because here, you know, like, what, this is an article, okay, it's called what other needle workers have found out. And I was like, ooh, like that's really neat. Oh my goodness. Talk about right? Right? Toasting removes dangerous irritants that cause throat irritation and coughing. Right. Sure. Needlecraft Magazine, again, is really kind of fun to look through. I've got quite a few of them here. And again, a lot of times they're already cut up because they, this is something that is a needle, a chart in here. You can follow it and do your own cross stitch. They've got really neat ideas for all sorts of really neat stuff. And I can't even tell you, like, just, you know, um, really, really cool. These are also very interesting. Several of the magazines have themed covers and interiors, and this is one of them. There's also one that was right after the discovery of King Tut's tomb, and there was a big Egyptian theme. But their covers always have things on them that talk about the type of embroidery and things like that from the cover, which is really neat. But again, women were not, they wanted to be inspired. And so these are, again, these magazines are just, they're kind of beat up, but I'm really enjoying them. This one, 1926, 1927, you can see, just the kind of ads that were in them. Some of them are really repeats of what we've had before. Here you go, some vegetable soup, pretty cool. And the tips and tricks and stuff are really kind of what I'm after. And I'm just, like I said, I'm really, here's the Egyptian one. This is a repeat. I actually own this one already. So this one I already have. And this one is as complete as the one that I have. So, which is really nice. I could probably finally cut up this cornflakes ad. But I have this one because of the Egyptian things on it. And there is a little story inside about, like, Egyptian weaving and things like that. So thought that was really cool. Here's again another Hershner's catalog. We've got a couple of those, and again, just a lot of women's magazines and so on. So here's another themed issue. This one is Ireland. Again, if you're not into this stuff, I can totally get that. For me, it's just really fascinating. So once I get a chance to go through all of these and pick out some really cool, here's a Germany. This one's about Germany. And look through some of these. I can't wait. Here's one that's like it says patchwork quilt, Civil War period. They're trying to give you the idea of, like, what this was like, here you go, Philippine embroidery. Very cool. So I haven't gone through all of these magazines yet. They just got here and I can't wait. But the reason that I was interested in them was for one particular woman's calendar, or her column. And I don't have an example here of her column just yet, but I'll eventually have one, and I'll be able to show it to you. And I'll say that my research of her was really interesting, and I found out that she did do columns in magazines and newspapers around the country for years. And then in the 40s, and these magazines are completely shedding everywhere. In the 40s, she did these books on sewing, and her name is Ruth Wyeth Spears. Now, why is these books, which are kind of out of order here, but you get the idea. So you've got book 3, 4, 5, all the way to 8, and I think there were 13 total. They're from the 40s. They are specifically for women to follow because of World War II, the Mend and Save for Victory kind of ideas. And you have like ways to mend clothing, how to renovate old fabrics, what to make from things on hand, embroidery stitches to decorate what you make. And this is because, women were being asked to like save their things, to keep their like not buy new and so on. And so this woman, Ruth Wyeth Spears, had these ongoing articles in magazines throughout the country where she was telling women how to like update her, a very plain dress or what have you. And here she is writing these books about how to make things, like how to fit a slipcover. They're just really interesting on how to like how to fix things, because obviously you may not have a lot to spend during the war and you need to be doing things on your own. And if you needed to know how to do those, right, how to draw curtains, how to make curtains like that draw like with a cord when you don't have like hardware, it's really neat. How to do pinch pleats, just really interesting sewing and or household things. And I just thought that these were incredible, and I thought that she was incredible. And she's taken these books and turned them into basically a helpful thing for women who were being told to conserve and save and help our country and things like that. And doesn't that sound like what we're all going through? And basically how to take scraps and make them into things. And I found these so incredible. So I'm going to go through some of these, and I'm going to keep looking for more of Ruth Wyeth Spears's 20s and 30s dressmaking suggestions. And I hope that you guys stick around for some of that, because this is going to be a little fun adventure. Pam says it's a cool find. I agree. I can't wait to really dive in and find out more about this woman, because she was pretty incredible. And I know that she has a book, and I'm still looking for a copy of that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you follow me again next week. Come back here next Tuesday at 12 Central. I hope to see you then. And hopefully you enjoyed all this unboxing. Take care of yourselves. See you next Tuesday. And